Hey guys, it's Jaden. Welcome back. Today we're talking about The Expanse Season 5, Episode 8. Episode's called, I believe, Hard Vacuum. And boy, was it sucking up the air in the room because, I just felt so overwhelmed, right? For one person in particular. Don't forget, this is a no recap react review, so if you haven't seen the episode, we're talking about it. We're getting into the nitty of the gritty, and that's just how we are doing today. So, here are my thoughts, right? So, I think the first thing to really talk about is really just the Secretary General, because he's basically a figurehead. He doesn't have any experience, so obviously she's relying on the people around him, as some leaders do. And the thing about him is they bring up this whole idea of like striking back against Marco. And because we all know from like watching the show that the belt itself is not necessarily, everybody in the belt is not necessarily with Marco. Not everybody that's in OPA agrees with the same thing. There are multiple factions, and I think they understand that. But I think that Earth is become so particular about their opinions about people who live in the belt that even if their idea of like one belter is a belter, basically, so they really don't care, right? However, there is a conversation overall that's being had of like, well, not all belters are here for Marco, but then on the other hand, it's like, well, they're all belters. And I think that is really the attitude that got them into this mess in the first place, right? If y'all didn't treat the belt like basically crap, you wouldn't have had rocks thrown at you. Just gonna say, diplomacy typically wins out most times. And the fact is that Delgado was offering that solution of like blowing up 9 to 10, 13,000 people on a whim, right? And there's just this ethical conversation to be had about like, is this the right thing? Is this the right response? And I'm afraid that Porter or Pastor or Pastor or whatever his name is, I think he's actually going to follow Delgado's advice. And I think this is the first time we've seen a split between Avasarala and Delgado. And I think it was a situation of like, the friend of my friend, you know, we have to work together so that we can like at least be out here together. However, there are some things where they're universally just split on. And this is probably one of them. I feel bad because I feel like this is literally just going to exasperate the problem, right? Marco, you destroy basically Palace Station. Marco's going to come back at you even harder and not have any claim. And everybody else is going to see that, oh, the Earth wants to sit there and destroy Palace? Okay, now we got to all join the Free Navy to fight. And it's basically a conversation about what is the right response. I don't really know what the right response is. All I know is throwing up like innocent people when you don't have them confirmed is not it. Not it, you know. So earlier on in the episode, I guess we get to have a conversation on whether that proto-molecule was blown up. I'll be honest, I don't know. Until I see it happen, I don't believe it's gone. Maybe it is, and maybe they did try and justify it by saying that it is gone because they would have noticed if another ship, if they stopped or changed their pattern or something like that. I don't know. I just don't believe that it's gone. I just think like it's too convenient that their ship blew up and then it's gone, right? I just think it's way too convenient. I think though there is a conversation to be had, especially around like Bull and Monica basically trying to wrangle, that's funny, Bull and Monica trying to wrangle Holden in, because Holden obviously, no matter what, wants to go after Naomi. However, right now they do have that bigger mission if they can go after it. But it's just like, is that the thing to do? Is that what we need to be doing at this particular moment? And I don't think that Holden understands the stakes of everything because he doesn't have all of the information, right? Like he's still trying to figure out where Naomi is through the episode. Even when he finds her, it's a weird situation, right? So I guess the only time we got to see Alex as we tumble down to his demise, because I've really just been sold on it. He's just gonna die. He's in that ship with Bobby, and they do find Naomi, but they're listening to the recording. It was something. I don't know. I don't really have any feelings about it. All I know is this man is tumbling to his death, and he's probably gonna take Bobby with him. I hope Bobby survives, right? I really do hope that she survives. You know, another one of our heroes, or I really want to say I appreciate Peaches. I appreciate Clarice. Mao. I can't do it like how he does it. You know, it's like Mao. I don't know. It's the way that he does his name. I know. Don't ask me. I'm stupid. Let me go. But Jules Pimia Mao. You know what? Let me live. Let me live. Anyway, as I was saying, Clarissa essentially is, I think, a welcome addition. I think that she is so cool, so interesting. I really did forget exactly what her role is, but I think this time, when she's not angry and mean about it, like, okay, you know, I like this. I like you can talk. You can, okay, bring it to the table. Like, right, yeah. So then we have Amos and Clarice trying to get Eric on board of like, no, this is not the same. Like, this is not the same as the churn. This is very different. This is a problem. This is an issue. This is not something that you can just survive willy-nilly, try and basically beat out the rest. This is not your average standard hurricane. Like, this was a bombing on the planet. You need to get off this planet, right? And I think that's also like a whole conversation that opens up a whole thought process of like, so what is the end goal of the series, right? Is Earth going to be around? Is Earth not going to be around? I personally don't think that Earth, at this rate, I don't think Earth will be around. I think it's going to force a lot of people to try and get off the planet. And I think a lot more Earth casualties are going to happen. Also, I don't know. I just don't think that it's as straightforward as possible. But I do think that Clarice and Amos together are really bringing it. They're bringing the je ne sais quoi of the world. Amos is really just worried about his whiskey. So, you know, tequila. Whiskey, tequila. Either way, he's worried about something. He's worried about drinking. He said that shit was good. All right. Another one of our people that we have to talk about before we get into, you know, the main show, the main attraction of really like diving deep into that whole conversation with Naomi. It is really just like the whole drummer of it all. Drummer is betwixt. Yeah, I used the word betwixt. She's betwixt a rock and a hard place, literally, because it's just a conversation. She did not ever want to be under someone else. She believed in her own freedom with her own family, her own faction. But it's the fact is that Marco kind of pulled her in, and it was either she did that or she died. And even as they're pulling the scraps off of people who voted to kill Marco back in the other season, it's the same situation all over again. And she realizes that she knows that if she would have said no to join the Free Navy, she would have been killed. Everyone on the ship would have been killed. And that's the worst thing. I'll be honest, I really thought Carol, I thought she was gonna die by the end of the episode because I was like, you done lost your damn mind, right? And it's just so funny to hear from her perspective, her thoughts of Naomi, right? She thinks like Naomi's a traitor, Naomi did this, Naomi did that, right? But it's just like, you gave up on the cause. And it's like, there's multiple sides to this story, and like, obviously this is how you feel, but this really seemed to be like an A and B conversation, and you were like seeing your way into it, and honestly, get the fuck out, right? She should have minded her business, because it seems like she has a lot of opinions for somebody who really wasn't in the middle of the mix. And also, I think that Marco has proven to be a very charismatic leader. I think, though, he's a dickhead. I think that he is power hungry and he doesn't really want to relinquish control. I think, if anything, he wants to control everything and not really fight for the freedom of the people, because he is willing to literally let people in the belt be his shields as he basically slinks and sloofs all around basically Seoul. So then the question is, why is Coral, I don't know, this is probably not really a big question, but like I really do want to know like why is she so loyal to this man? I get the whole idea that you've been sold in this vision, but like I feel like Marco's really selling you a pipe dream. Like Marco is telling you one thing, but he's really doing another. And that, I think that's what, I don't know, that kind of sucks. Also, Sin's dead, which, surprise, surprise, but like, did he deserve to go out like that? No, but he did. But yeah, Drummer is really just feeling those woes of like, oh my gosh, well, let's go get Naomi. Let's go get her. Let's go get her. I gotta be loyal. And Coral out here telling her like, no, it's a message. No, don't. Even though by the end we find out that it's not just a message, which changes everything completely, because you know for a damn sure that Drummer is going to go after Naomi, right? You know for damn sure. So I don't know. That's just the whole thing. I think Corral's not leaving the season. She's just not. Like, you're not about to disrespect Drummer on her own ship at all. Period. Like, no. What else is really good from this before I really get into Naomi? Marco's just a dickhead. That's just it. But as we get into Naomi, let's really just dive into this. Honestly, I could have watched the entire episode of just her doing this. This gave me very Gravity vibes. This gave me very, you know, alone by herself in the corridor, just trying to figure things out. And I would say the Expanse has always, for the most part, been it's focused on close-knit stories, but has the ability to tell scaled out sagas. But it really has always focused in on its core people, and it does a really good job at doing that, which I don't think a lot of shows do. And I think it's also something that really, I think it excels at more than Game of Thrones, because it's able to still relate your core story back to the whole thing. Because you know there's certain plots in Game of Thrones where it's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? And I think with The Expanse, you really just ask that of like, okay, so what are we getting in this episode? How does this relate back to the overall thing? And I think as the seasons have gone on, they've been trying to tell like more unique solo stories. And we've gotten so much more information about like Alex, we've got information about Amos, we got information about Naomi, and really their backstories, which we really didn't get before. We really knew a lot about Holden, we knew a lot about other people, but like the core other three heroes of our series, and we don't really know what's happening. Yeah, so Naomi basically is just there, alone, trying to fix things up. So I actually learned this last week, that space is a hard vacuum. It's not really the whole situation of it. Like, it's not like that, oh wow, you touch space and you're just gonna freeze up and blow up and all your blood's gonna pop and all that. No, it's a hard vacuum. So essentially think of it like it's just devoid of atmosphere. It is more of like, it's basically how spacesuits work, but like on the inside. So a spacesuit essentially protects you from like I would say elements, but there's no elements in space. Protects you from the outside, right? But by the oxygen actually gives you an atmosphere for you to be able to breathe. Because effectively, they are the same exact situation, really. That spacesuit is really keeping all of your internal, your cold, your heat, everything inside of the suit itself. But once you go outside, the thing with space is just devoid of heat. So it's really just a hard vacuum. It's weird, right? So the way that Naomi survived last week is really with that hard, you know, oxygenated blood that we introduced early on in the season with Monica when she suffocated. So Naomi is just feeling it though, because it's just the fact that she's burning from like outside. I don't know. There's a couple things I wasn't like confident on, but I do know for a fact she's feeling the burn. She's feeling the effects of basically being outside without a spacesuit, and it's affected. I would say she has so many internal injuries. It's not even funny. You know, she can barely see. She barely walk. She can barely talk. So then, you know, and I think this is a great time to really talk about the perseverance of this woman, because I think like a lot of us really thought like, oh my gosh, so she's going to give up again. But no, Naomi's never been a giver-upper. She's really always been a fight for what she believes in type of person. And if there's one thing she's going to do, she's going to fight for her life. So as she really got into that ship and she was just MacGyvering her way around everything, just trying to find the next solution. I mean, I don't know. It was so amazing. It was just shot really well. The lighting was great. I like the idea of her going back and forth, trying to learn the pattern of trying to figure out what's the transmission. I don't know. I really just appreciate the hell out of this episode, mainly because like Naomi just got to be shown off more as a badass that she is. And we got to really focus on her, because we all know that each one of our heroes really stands for something else. Like, we know Amos is really the muscle, we know Naomi's really the engineer, but like, how much of an engineer are you? That's what I feel like this was. Like, can you beat an engineer, basically? That's a horrible analogy, but I think more, how engineer are you is a better conversation. Just like Alex is like the pilot from the dreams, and you know Holden is, he's captain. We just gonna leave captain alone. Like he's always in the mix of everybody else's drama. So where do I think this is gonna go? I really do hope Pastor does not Delgado's decision, and I really think he really thinks about, like, we need to have a measured response, like an appropriately measured response, but killing innocent people is not going to do it. Yeah, they killed, not they, Marco killed millions of people, yes, but that does not mean that you need to then kill people within the belt just because of it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's just not, it's not a measured response at all. We already know, like, Marco is heading towards the gate for something, and I'm pretty sure we know that he wanted to secure the gate or something like that for it, like, so he could, like, say, like, the space is ours, you know, whatever pirate thing he's going for. But I don't know. I think that, yeah, hopefully Pastor doesn't do that. I think that next episode we're just going to either be in New Hampshire where the new ship is, or we're going to be on the way, and we're going to get more of Amos and Eric and their childhood, and that's a good discussion. We don't really get to, you know, do that often. So I really do like Eric. I think that he's a good explanation as to why, like, Amos is the way he is. So really excited about that. Holden, I don't know what kind of shenanigans are about to happen up there, but I do think Corral's going to die before the end of the season. Holden and I don't know. Alex is going to die before the end of the season. Like, I just think that we're queuing that up. If he takes Bobby with him, so be it at this point. I don't want him to take Bobby because I think Bobby's awesome. I think Bobby's great. But, like, you know. Yeah, I think that somehow Corral may or may not get the information back to Marco, that is what I don't want. Because Marco doesn't think she's alive. Marco thinks she's dead. And he thinks, oh, she's so selfish for leaving us. Oh my God, shut up, my guy. I don't know. That's really kind of where I'm at this point. This is where I'm just thinking, you know, I think that, you know, hard vacuum just meant a lot because, like, Naomi the entire time was not only the fact of her being in the hard vacuum of space without a spacesuit, but her then going into a depressurized atmosphere in order to save herself back and forth with no oxygen, and trying to sit there and, like, just somewhat try and save her life, somewhat try and send out a signal. And I think that is really what the meaning of this is. You know, really gives us the I don't know, the goodbye, the farewell from last week. It just really hypes up the stakes. So I really hope that next week's episode is, like, a banger. I really do. And at this point, we're at episode 8, so they better be. As you can see, they're really more combining, like, the factions, the storyline between all of them. So things that we're looking for. Anyway, that's my episode. Thank y'all so much for watching. I'm going to talk to y'all later. I'm going to go edit this video and eat. Talk to y'all later. See you later. Bye.